are a bunch of wild and crazy Cleveland Browns fans, bring you all the latest in Browns news. Tune in now. And welcome to another edition of the Fanatical Elfz. No, it is a Thursday night, and we are here 8 o'clock, a little bit after 8:13. Lucky number 13. I don't like the number 13. I hate saying the number 13. Welcome, Steve Gill. Welcome, Sam, the man down there in Dallas, Texas. Steve, how you doing tonight?
Great.
Great.
Got the combine going on. We got rumors flying. We got interviews with players. It's the off season on a roll. Gotta love it.
We have a lot to talk about tonight between what Andrew Berry spoke of earlier in the week, his conversations at the combine. Kevin Stefanski spoke. We've had a lot since then. Like you said, we'll get into all the thickness of everything that's been transpiring this week. Sam, you say it's warmer down there in Dallas.
Yes, much warmer. I have not seen a whole lot of Barry and Stefanski. I tried to keep up, but I've been busy these past few days. But yeah, I mean, it sucks to see that I don't think they're going to talk to Nick Chubb. They're going to try and get him back.
Yeah,
it's just disappointing to see how this team seems to just go from such a good team good team. They were good in 2023 to just absolutely fall apart in the next 2 years.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna talk about that. It's lots to kind of break down. Let's just start with Andrew Berry spoke earlier in the week. He was asked multiple questions about Myles Garrett. After the initial press conference, then he did mention briefly, and Sam, you touched on it, that Nick Chubb will enter free agency, and that Berry said that they're going to let him test out the market, which,
Didn't say he was going to enter free agency.
Okay.
It's not what he said.
How did he say
they were going to let it? He was going to let him test free agency, and the Browns and Nick Chubb's representatives would stay in contact.
Yes.
That's what he said. Yes,
and the article we were talking before the air, Jared Mueller, who's writes for and he had a very good article that day or later that night, and he basically said, out of respect to Nick Chubb, to allow him to kind of go into this and then kind of set the market right, the market value.
Set his market value.
Saw something
isn't going to be that great this year.
Spot Track that said it was around $3 million projected for him, maybe per year, per season.
Yep.
Is that okay? I was pretty fired up, and I know our colleague Ethan Greenberg was on who does his great shows there, Going Nuclear, and then the Best Dog show, not dog. What is it against? I can't say it right. The Best Doggone Show in the Land with Heather and Ethan. Anyway, Ethan says he was on the X, and he was saying how people are really upset. The same people that are upset about Nick Chubb potentially going into the free agency market would be the same people who would be upset if they paid him a whole bunch of money. And I came on after the news broke, and I was just annoyed. And I understand it's a business, but just again spoke about, Nick Chubb and what he means to this team. But like Steve, you pointed out off air, he's played in 8 games over the last 2 seasons.
Played in 8 games, had 2 season-ending injuries, and he's 30 years old. The Browns are going to pay his worth for 2025, not what he did in the past. Now, Nick Chubb has said he wants to retire a Brown. After Myles Garrett said, I want to trade, Nick Chubb came out and said, I want to stay in Cleveland. They're going to talk the week before free agency starts. I'm pretty sure his agent's going to get his value during the combine, because that's what they do. They do the illegal tampering. So I don't doubt that he'll be signed by the Browns. He's not the number one running back he used to be. I don't think he'll ever be the same as he used to be, but he's valuable to have on the team. And like I always say, when we're talking about Nick Chubb and contract, and this will be the third time that we've talked about it, he is of more value to the Cleveland Browns than he is to any other team.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a fact.
Well, and you also mentioned too that you said 30 running backs in this year's draft.
30 running backs that have draft grades, that are draft
worthy
grades. Yeah, will be draftable. I mean, that's a high number.
Yeah.
Draft. Yeah, you can get a good running back anywhere. Then there are a ton of them. Starters.
Yes, I did a series of articles this week, just bringing up a few of those different running back, and they might be drafted obviously they have different value and different levels, different rounds coming up. But Ollie Gordon, a running back from Oklahoma State, caught my attention. Cam Scatterbo. Yeah, another interesting. You talk about a bruiser, and watching film on him and his balance. That was the thing I mentioned in the article that was most impressive to me, was his, not just the durability, and then that there's some question marks then durability in his shelf life in the NFL. But watching some of the runs that he made over the season I was very impressed with his balance. And like Mike, we've mentioned Mike Altstadt, right? The old running back from the past. And anywho, that's so those are two examples of a couple guys that are out there that potentially could be. I keep
seeing the kid from North Carolina, Hampton.
Yes.
Drafted to the Browns. Which I love that. Fine with that.
Absolutely.
Kid's a bruiser. Mm. So yeah, let's do it.
Sam, have you had a chance to look at any of the running backs?
I have not. I wasn't expecting this to happen, so I wasn't really scouting running backs yet.
That's okay. We have 2 months, so we
yeah, I probably will do some, but no, I haven't looked into any running backs yet.
All right, so back to Sam, the Nick Chubb stuff, where are you at with everything with Nick? Again, like when you heard about him being maybe like exploring the free agency market, what do you say to that? And are you okay with the Browns potentially letting him
leave? Mean, unfortunately, Nick Chubb can't stay healthy anymore, is what it looks like. Mm-hmm. And depending on how much money he's going to get, there's no guarantee. If you give him, let's just say, a 3-year contract, that's what? 17 times 3, that's like 45-ish games, maybe around 50 actually.
Right.
That's 50 games. There's no guarantee he's going to play 20 of those games. Mm-hmm. If he tears his knee again or destroys something, he might be out for the rest of the season. And then at that point, you don't know. The problem has become you have no idea if he's too injury prone to bring back, because unfortunately the running back position is the most physical position in the sport. And if you can't stay healthy normally, you're just going to get torn apart by playing running back. And so I'd like him back, but on the business side of things, the way he's been healthy and how little he can seem to get onto the field, it doesn't make sense.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Anything else?
Not a good year to be a veteran running back.
No.
Not a good year.
There's just so many. Like when you start going through the draft and all the running backs, like you've said, like there's 30.
Oh God, you can get anybody.
I mean, there's just so many. Travion Henderson, the other kid, Junkins from Ohio State, two kids that you could work with there. I love the Hampton kid from North Carolina. KJ Giddens or DJ Giddens, kid from Kansas State. Good, solid guy that could be there in maybe a later round if the Browns wanted to get 2 running backs.
I think they will.
They have 11 picks, correct?
Correct. That's what Barry said. Everybody was speculating 12, but they've got 11. I haven't seen where they fall yet.
Can I move in? Let's talk a little bit about briefly this quarterback stuff. And I wanted to bring it up in regards to what Kevin Stefanski talked about in his presser when he was asked about Cam Ward and Shadir Sanders. There's been a lot of conversation about these 2 guys being the top 2 quarterbacks. My question or my observation, and I want to get this from you, Steve, and then Sam, if you want to react to these 2 guys. There seems to be a little bit more push or conversation about Cam Ward again to the Browns. And what I took note of when I listened to Stefanski's presser was it when he talked about both. This is just me reading the room and reading body language and how Stefanski talked. I know I'm diving deep into this. I felt like the way that he talked about Cam Ward was more positive and compared to how he mentioned Shadir Sanders. He was very positive about Sanders, but not in the same, it was something a little different. He paid respect to him being a great talent and comes from a dad and, who was very successful. I don't know. There's something that he said. I don't know exactly how, but it was how he mentioned Cam Ward was more interesting to me. So in my mind, I thought going away from that, I think that Stefanski likes Cam Ward more. Not that they're going to draft him, but when they talked about the 2, I think he was more intrigued with Cam Ward. Where do you guys sit at, Steve? What did you see I'm assuming you watched Stefanski.
No, I was having lunch with my brother.
Oh, well, that's
but I caught him on CDB, on Cleveland Browns Daily. First of all, let's start with the Browns like Cam Ward more than they like Sanders.
Okay,
I'll just tell you that. That's what I've been told.
They're
They're high on 2 players.
Yeah,
Abdul Carter and Cam Ward. That's who they like right now. And as I listened to Coach Stefanski on Cleveland Browns Daily, after he was done, they went to commercial.
Right.
Then they came back, and Nathan Zagura said, I believe that is the most positive I've seen Coach Stefanski in a long time. Mm-hmm. And then he said, and I listened to these guys because they get paid by the Browns, so they know what's going on in that building. He goes, he had the look about him that he knows who his quarterback is going to be. That's what he said.
And so you believe it's going to be Cam Ward?
I don't know. It all depends on Tennessee. Right now, Benjamin Albright, who covers the Broncos, and he's also a national reporter, tweeted out he heard there was going to be a big trade in the top 5, and he said it was going to be a giant trade. You could even call it a Titanic trade. Take it for what it's worth.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a national guy. He's always spot on too. So I don't know what the Titans are going to do. And I pointed out, I reposted another article from Jared Mueller today. Yes. And he's of the belief they're going to try and sign Sam Darnold, the Titans. And that way, that gives them more options at 1 and also trading down from
And
1.
So we will find out soon because that period opens up here in the next week and a half, 2 weeks.
Well, the draft trades can go right up to draft day.
Right. I'm talking
but
about.
But if they sign Sam Darnold,
that's what I was thinking.
They could still take a quarterback. You don't know. Why would they want to bring back Mason Rudolph?
So now Mueller, he mentioned the other day in his article, I thought he said that it looked like the Titans wanted to take Abdul Carter.
They do, but I reposted it today. Mm-hmm. That he's heard they might try and sign Sam Darnold.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I don't know.
So
We'll
if that
see. I haven't heard here in Nashville. It's just all hush. Nobody really knows what they're going to do. I mean, I don't even think they know what they're going to do. To be honest, nobody should. But they're getting soft offers for the first pick. The Browns are getting soft offers for the second pick. And that's what happens during the combine.
Kirk Cousins is still with the Atlanta Falcons, and
at this time, that's what the GM said. As of now, we want to keep Kirk Cousins. So if you really believe they're going to pay him $30+ million to be a backup and pay him his bonus on March 17th of $10 million,
yeah,
sure. I got some swampland I could sell.
Yeah.
A bridge in Brooklyn I could sell you. No.
Okay.
No.
Sam,
like Jared said, he is of the belief that they will release him because they have no option. Nobody's going to trade for him. He has a no trade clause. They will be forced to release him, make him a June 2nd cut so they can split up that dead cap, and he will come and play for the Browns, which does not preclude them, if Cam Ward is at number 2, from taking Cam Ward at number 2.
Yes. Well, Sam, at number 2, if the Browns are there and both guys are available, Cam Ward and Shadir Sanders.
Yeah.
Who do you
I think Cam Ward, honestly, if we really are looking at the best, it's close. I think but again, I've said it a million times, we're the Browns. If we draft Cam Ward, he's going to suck, and Shadir is going to become a Hall of Famer, and if we pick Shadir, Cam Ward will become the Hall of Famer.
Wow, that's you're too young to be this pessimistic.
I know. I hope that doesn't happen.
You gotta wait till you're in your 50s and 60s to be this cynical.
I mean, you might as well shoot your shot. Let's just say Myles Garrett and Nick Chubb leave. Who do you have left on the team other than you have Denzel Ward, right? You have a few other offensive linemen and
David Njoku.
Yeah, you have David Njoku, and then you have basically no one else who's
Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah, I'm not saying good. I'm saying like people who have been on the team for a long amount of time. After that, you only have a few more guys left. This team is basically a whole new team. You've got a blank piece of paper to try and work on. You might as well take your shot. You've got 11 draft picks. Use all of them to the best of your abilities. It's the draft. You never know. You'll hit on some. You'll miss on others. It's just the way it works.
Okay.
But you've got a blank slate. Just take your opportunity at the second pick. Pick whoever you think is better and just go for it. Just do whatever. There's no consequences anymore. You're not trying to fit into a prime of a player, right? You don't have a historic wide receiver or a historic defensive lineman you're trying to build upon as quickly as possible before they start falling off. You don't have that problem, so you might as well just go for it.
We're moving into a society where there are no consequences, so why not?
Obviously. Look at us.
Okay, let's pause quickly here for the from the Fanatical Elfz show. We are part of Fans First Sports. We'll be right back. And thank you for coming back to us on this Thursday evening. Steve Gill here. Sam the man down there, Britain from Dallas, Texas is here as well. We're talking Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns are always a fun and, well, they're always in the news for a variety of reasons. Let's move into just, again, Myles Garrett. He's been on our mind. He has his contract. The Browns don't have to do anything. The Browns came out this week. Andrew Berry reiterated he's not planning on trading Myles Garrett. He has no intention on that. People were asking, are you talking to other teams? He would not go into any of that. He basically said he doesn't do that. So they're holding to what they've been saying all along. Tonight, before the podcast came on, Mary Kay, our favorite, had to come on with a little tweet here and there in her headlines about Myles according, like Steve, you can elaborate on this if you'd like, saying that Miles is dead set on wanting
Slam the door shut. That's a Mary Kay-ism if I ever saw one. She's now becoming his spokesperson. You know, he had to get his spokesperson to reply to all this stuff the last 2 or 3 days about them not, not going to trade him, which they're not going to trade him. If they do, Sam is right. They will suck, and John, your head will explode for the next 2 years. You will convince yourself every week from Monday to Sunday they're going to win when they're not. I could tell you right now, they are going to have to totally dump a ton of players if they take that burden of that $36 million cap hit. I mean, $36 million cap hit. So that's why it's not going to happen. Number two, this Mary Kay stuff has just made Jimmy Haslam more stubborn in keeping Myles Garrett, and he is the decision maker if there's going to be a trade or not. And right now, he doesn't like this back and forth crap, and Myles Garrett is pissing him off, and he ain't going nowhere. They will force him to play. He will play for 2 to 4 years with the Cleveland Browns. He has no leverage whatsoever. So anytime somebody says, well, if we trade him to the Patriots, no, not going to happen. You also want to know why it's not going to happen? Right now, I have heard there are other teams that have star athletes who want to sit at the front office table and tell the team what to do and what direction to go. We've come to a point in the modern NFL where they want it to be the NBA. And the owners and front offices and executives want to keep it as the NFL. Cannot give in. Cannot give in. Or it cannot. It didn't work with the Jets and Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. Why would you think it would work with anybody else? They are not going to give in on this. This is a point of no return in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Sam, like 7 star players have told their GMs, hey, I want to be included in what you're going to do for the future. That's not how this works.
Yeah, I mean, if you're I agree with you, Steve. The only time I would agree with the player is if they are a quarterback who has proven they can push us to the Super Bowl. If you've proven that, you are most likely the key component to the team. I'll let you be like, hey, this wide receiver, he fits. I think he would fit us. I'll go look at him. I'm not
and
letting
today,
him tell me.
Historically, I don't see any Cleveland Brown player, including Myles Garrett, who's been ever in that position. So, okay.
Hell, they ignored
I'm not letting him tell me what to do, but I'm letting him make suggestions and be like, these guys would fit the team well. I was just saying that the Cowboys probably have 4 players who are all trying to boss Jerry Jones around. It's Micah, CD, Dak, and then some random guy who they picked up. I don't know, but yeah. I agree with you, Steve. The owners definitely need to kind of get thicker skin, I guess, for lack of a better word, to not let the players bully them around so much.
Hell, Bill Belichick never listened to Bernie Kosar. Bernie said, I need an offensive lineman. Here's some money back from my contract. What did he do? He signed Testaverde.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's there's a big separation between, what we're talking about here, NFL owners and the NBA. And they're just different. They're just completely different. But what's interesting too is, the NFL makes $1 bazillion more than the NBA, correct?
Oh God, yes.
The NFL is it. So, gosh. So, okay. So Myles isn't going anywhere. We'd be surprised if we see that happen.
I still think he's going to sign an extension.
Okay.
I really do. Yeah. All this posturing.
Man, Mary Kay, man. Mary Kay.
Slam the door shut. That is so Mary Kay. As soon as I saw that, I went, wow, Mary Kay.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
So we got the combine going on this week. I know you're starting to look at some numbers, Steve. you'll get into that. Maybe
Yes.
we'll get into more of that maybe next week if you want. But
Sure.
there's tonight there were the defensive linemen, I think, and the
Yep.
linebackers tonight that were
Yep.
running. There was a kid, Jahad Campbell. I wrote about him briefly in an article a few weeks ago for Fans First. Really great prospect linebacker. We need to build up the linebacking room. There's other very good linebackers in this group as well. So the Browns, I'm gonna guess they're gonna draft a linebacker at some point. They were showing the one kid who ran earlier, right around the same time that Campbell ran. I think he's from Washington, maybe. I want to say he played at Washington. Pretty good linebacker. Had good numbers. That Campbell kid ran at the 40-yard dash 4.51, which is pretty good for like he's like 235, 6'3", really solid. Like that's a big fast kid. So later in the week on Friday into Saturday, the combine, they'll be having the quarterbacks. Shadir Sanders, Cam
Quarterbacks
Ward,
are Sunday. They're last. Quarterbacks are always last.
Now, Shadir Sanders is there. He's been interviewing with different teams. People have talked about him, floating that, he's got the Browns hat on the back of his backpack. You think that, Sanders is trying to sell himself to some of these teams, maybe a little bit, kind of pressing?
Yeah, maybe.
So? Maybe a little bit, Sam?
Yeah,
Okay.
Possibly. It's hard to tell sometimes.
Well, I just get this feeling like I think more people are like what we just talked about is that Cam Ward is probably the more primed prospect that's ready to go in the NFL. And Shadir's a little bit behind him as far as more teams probably are favoring Cam Ward to be the first quarterback to come off the board. But then, Sam, like you said, who knows? Wherever.
It's a roll of the dice at this point.
Yes.
With quarterbacks. It always is. Who among us thought that Bo Nix would become what Bo Nix was? Nobody.
No.
Nobody saw that coming. Drake May had question marks. We still don't know about J.J. McCarthy, but the Vikings are so enamored with him. They have already named him the starter if he's healthy. So
who expected the guy in Washington, Jaden Daniels, right? Who expected him to
Penix.
be?
Jaden Daniels, perfect example.
Right,
who expected him to be the third best quarterback in the NFL this year? With
Caleb Williams was the
NFC Championship. That for your rookie year, you beat the Lions pretty hard too. That was a beatdown, and then you get crushed by the Eagles. Yeah, but the Eagles clearly were far superior in every aspect to most teams they were facing. But you make it to the NFC Championship with a rookie quarterback. Like you said, that no one expected him to take their team to the second biggest team so quickly.
Commanders, Washington, they've kind of changed their culture a little bit, right? They've kind of
that owner, they got rid of him
out of there, and so it's kind
of
a
brand new owner, and they spent a lot of money on veterans on 1-year contracts.
Okay,
so I'll be interested to see how they do next year.
Yes. Are there any? Let's Steve or Sam, if you want. I thought we'd just look a little bit in the free agency. I know some of you have looked at some of these guys. I think
I did a whole series.
Yeah, you did a whole series. So you want to share out anybody that comes to mind off the top of your head, or somebody that you think the Browns and maybe the fans might be looking?
I think the landscape is going to change a little bit in this offseason. Andrew Berry alluded to it, that there might be more trading than signing. You're seeing players ask for trades. They're usually older players who aren't worth their contract. Perfect example, Harold Landry here in the Titans. He's due $17 million. His play has dropped off the last 2 years. He's not worth it. And Jason over the cap speculated that with this giant increase of salary cap money up to 279.2, and by the way, over the cap had it projected at 279.5. They were close again this year.
Yeah.
That this might be the season that a lot of teams cut the dead weight.
Yeah.
Get rid, take those big dead cap hits now, clean up their own house roster and financial wise. So, and he also speculated you might see some more trades than usual. I know I have heard that the Browns are going to be looking at, of course, wide receivers, tight ends, offensive tackles. So if you can get a trade for a starter, you get them locked in. And then you bring them, you sign them, you trade for them, you sign them, and then you redo their contract like they did with Jerry Jeudy, like they did with Amari Cooper, like they do with everybody they trade for, and then you work your cap magic. So
anybody in mind that you think of?
I don't know, not yet. I just heard this today. I'm definitely going to start looking at tackles. There are a few tackles they can get their hands on. There's a guy, what's his name? Lucas, last name Lucas, Cornelius Lucas. He might be a nice tackle you could sign. They're going to have to sign a safety. They have to.
Yeah,
they have
you
to
wrote
sign
about
two.
Juan Thornhill.
You got to get a starter and you got to get a backup because McLeod retired. Because they love play three safeties. I know they want to give Hickman every chance, but I feel better if they sign a couple safeties as backup. Who else? Tight end. I wouldn't mind. I'd love to see him find a tight end to go along with Njoku. Now they could sign Atkins again, but they're going to need a third tight end. And they might draft one too. I mean, this is a hell of a tight end draft.
It is.
So So I have a feeling they're going to be, and with 11 draft picks, you can do your magic.
Right. You know that they're not going to keep all 11.
You can do your little the Andrew Berry magic. I mean, you get Cooper for a fifth, and then you get a third when you trade in Buffalo. That's magic. So yeah.
But what the Browns do, I guess that the criticism always with all of this is that yes, there's the magic, but the magic isn't transferring to the football field. While you know what I'm saying? Like that's what some fans are like, and I think that's what
these are people who don't like Andrew Berry, and they got to have somebody to blame.
But I know, but it's
he's
like
the one he's going to blame.
It's the skepticism.
Not perfect.
I know.
Like sometimes they hit, sometimes they miss. But in the wide receiver department, he's made 3 wide receiver trades.
He has.
Amari Cooper, they got 2 good years out of him. Then he was washed, and they shipped him off to Buffalo.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like Elijah Moore, but Elijah Moore had 2 years of the best production of
Deebo Samuel, right? San Francisco.
And then you get Jerry Jeudy coming off an incredible year with the quarterback play they had.
Free agent, or would he have to be traded for?
Who?
Deebo Samuel. Is he a free agent?
I believe he's a free agent, but they got other problems. I mean, they eventually are going to have to sign, extend Brock Purdy one of these days. I mean, they're getting away cheap, and I think he becomes a free agent next year. So you're going to have to extend him. And there's other players on that team that they're going to have to either put the money down or give up on, and these are starters. So
the name that's come up as far as for the Browns defense, I think he's a free agent. Khalil Mack, former great, played for a lot of different teams, but
who said that?
I did.
Oh, okay.
No, Khalil Mack, you know who I'm talking about, right? Isn't he like a free agent?
He plays for the Chargers.
He's with the Chargers now. I think he's up in.
I've heard the Bears might want to bring him back to Chicago.
Okay. Well, I was just thinking defensively. The Browns want to bring in kind of a veteran or two. He might be someone that they don't have to pay a boatload of money. I don't think that he's expected to get a huge, kind of, he's getting older now. He's been in the league for a while. That's why I was
true.
Okay.
Well,
Sam,
if you're going to do that, bring back Shelby Harris if you're going to go that route. I'm serious. I mean, he's more productive than Jim Schwartz's defense.
Like Javion Clowney and
no, they're not going down that road again.
Okay, or who's the kid that went over to Detroit? Is Detroit gonna bring him back? The guy that we traded to Detroit mid-season.
Jadarius Smith.
Yes, Zadarius Smith. Yeah, he'll stay in Detroit.
I think they're gonna try and find younger guys.
Yeah. No, I would just okay. Sam, anybody that you can think of right now anybody that you've looked at or studied or heard about? Any wide receivers down in Dallas?
No, unfortunately, probably not. But there's this guy out of Detroit, Levi on. I don't know how to pronounce his name. On was Zerky. I'm not sure, but he's a defensive tackle of Detroit. His previous contract was a rookie contract. It was 4 years, $8 million. Obviously, he's going to be getting more because he's coming off that defense in Detroit. But he was a quite decent player, I believe. He's had some injuries with his back, but he was much better in 2024 in terms of injuries.
Okay.
And he's only 27 years old. He could put in some good runs for you, some good points for you, and could be a decent player for your defensive line because you still need defensive improvement. And then one other guy, Jamie Sherwood out of the Jets. He was amazing. He's probably going to cost more than you're going to want. He's a linebacker, 25 years old. But he was one of the best players on the Jets defense who could be a great addition to your defense.
Is he a free agent or is he?
I believe he is a free agent.
Okay.
But both the 49ers and apparently the Falcons are looking at him. But he probably will cost a little bit more because he is very young. What is his last
name? Sherwood?
Yeah, I believe so. Sherwood. Yeah, Jamie and Sherwood. But just two little guys you could look at for. They probably, again, who knows how much they're going to get. It's going to be more because they're coming out of good teams, but not the Jets, but you know what I mean. Right. But I think those two could be interesting if you want to look at them.
Okay.
Well, if you want to go old, just go sign Calais Campbell. You get him 1 year, $3 million.
Right.
And then a guy that I've always just loved, Tahir Tart as a backup tackle. Very inexpensive.
Tart?
Tahir Tart.
Hart. Okay.
Tart. T-A-R-T.
What about this Mason?
T-A-R-T. He plays for the Chargers. They're probably not going to re-sign him. You can get him for one year for $2.5 million. There you go. Problem solved.
Jump back into the draft kid. This Mason Graham. Steve, I saw you reacted to the Browns talked to him this week.
They should.
Defensive lineman, right?
Yeah, he's very good. And
would that be a surprise?
He weighed in at 296.
Would he be every down back? Or would he be an every down guy in the line?
No, he'd probably only play about 30, 40 snaps. See, that's the way the defensive line works in Cleveland under Jim Schwartz. Nobody plays. I mean, Delvin Tomlinson plays about 60 to 65% of the snaps, or he should. That's why you get all these guys like Mo Hurst and Alex Wright and Shelby Harris in there, and you keep circulating them in and out. So, and Michael Hall Jr.
Who do you like them at the safety position? You said because we've lost Juan Thornhill.
Marcus May, MJ Stewart. Those are two guys that pop up into my brain right off.
That's what you mentioned. That's right. Where did MJ Stewart play for?
Oh, I don't remember. I've always liked him though.
San Francisco, Miami. I can't remember. It seemed like. Okay.
How about Simmons? Why not Simmons? Jeremy Simmons. Remember him? Big safety. He's an older guy.
Okay.
I wouldn't mind him. They're going to probably sign a few safeties.
What about some of the guys that are currently with the team, like Martin Emerson? Do you see him, or like even Greg Newsome? If they keep him around, like transitioning one of those guys to more of a safety spot, could you see that?
Well, if they trade Newsome, they're going to have to find another starter.
Well, I get right.
Justin Simmons.
Simmons. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Somebody like him.
Okay.
You know.
Any final thoughts? Sam, you want to go first? Any final takes? What you got?
Mason Graham.
With the
I do
Brown?
like Mason Graham.
You like
also.
Mason Graham?
Yeah. I think he's a good player. He's coming out of Michigan, and I know Ohio State people aren't exactly the fan of Michigan. I can't say much because you guys don't seem to beat them very often. But I mean, looking at him, he's good. I think he is he's obviously ranked quite high. I think you just shoot your shot at quarterback, though. I think you just might as well
shoot your shot. That should be your. You've mentioned that a few times.
I think that's what you got to do. But if you decide not to, and you decide to maybe take a chance on a later round quarterback, he could be a good, solid pick if you wanted to go that direction in the first round.
Okay, I like it. Steve, final thought tonight?
First of all, I want to pat myself on the back. I told you they weren't going to go back to the Greenbrier. I think I mentioned that late November they weren't going to go back to the Greenbrier.
Yes.
That's number one. Number two, a lot of fans got upset because Charlie Hewitt got released, a 34-year-old long snapper coming off an injury, and everybody gets bent out of shape about that. Number three, they're also bent out of shape that Deshaun Watson is working out at the facility, proving that he re-injured himself, that it was his fault. As Andrew Berry said, nothing nefarious. Let's define nefarious, evil or criminal, just for those of you who don't know what nefarious means. It's their burden of proof, and they can't prove it. So they want him in the facility so they can keep an eye on him.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
I mean, running around South Beach ain't doing anything for him. They want him under constant supervision of the medical staff and the rehab staff. It's not his choice. He has to do it. So that's why they're keeping him there. Okay? So everybody calm down. It also doesn't hurt when you restructure his contract and when he agrees to it, which they're going to do now that they know what the cap number is. They have to, which is part of the plan in getting rid of him. Don't panic. They're still going to get rid of him by league year day 2, 2027. That is when they can get rid of him. So, because the salary cap will always go up. And the reason the salary cap always goes up, because that's basically TV revenue. And since you switched from DirecTV to YouTube, they know exactly how many people are watching NFL football. Because you've got to pay the price for NFL football. You get DirecTV, you can watch baseball, you can watch hockey, you can watch the NBA. YouTube, they know you're watching the NFL. So the salary cap will make these big leaps every year because the one thing the NFL likes to do is make money.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, we got a lot more to talk about over the next several weeks. We've got the combine right now, hitting the free agency just around the corner. Lots to see how it all pans out for us, for other teams and our beloved Cleveland Browns. We have the draft then coming up in a little bit less than 2 months. Well, yeah, less than 2 months
April 24th.
now. And that will be the draft is where? Is it?
It's Green Bay? Green Bay.
Green Bay. And then next year it's in
interesting.
Steel City, Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Really? Boo. Yeah, I think so. I think it's Green Bay and then Pittsburgh next year. I think. Excited about our Cleveland Cavaliers. I know you guys are. I know, Steve, you like the Cavaliers a little bit. They keep winning. 48 wins, 10 losses. They got a big game tomorrow night against the Boston Celtics. So
didn't the Boston
Cavaliers.
Celtics lose to Detroit last night?
I believe so. Detroit's
I
winning.
believe they did.
JB. I got
What's
some
going
tickets
on with that?
well, I said on my podcast the other night, and you know how I feel about JB Bickerstaff. It's great that they're winning. JB is good with young teams, and he can get them so far, but he wasn't going to take this Cavaliers team any further. And Kenny Atkinson can. Even the little things like I've noted, and some of the people have been talking about the fact that Kenny Atkinson actually sits during a basketball game, which me as a basketball coach myself, I can't do what Kenny Atkinson is doing. It's remarkable that he has been able to sit there and not pace up and down the court like many coaches do. But they've got that.
In his team.
He does, and that really is. It is a beautiful thing. I have never seen, and I know I'm biased. We're talking about Cleveland here, but I haven't seen an NBA team. I mean, maybe outside of Golden State when they were in their prime, play so well and so fluid and have so many options. They are going to be fun to watch going through this postseason. Also got some tickets to go to Guardians game. I got tickets in June. Going to be going up to Cleveland to see the Guards play the Astros.
Awesome.
So
awesome.
Looking forward to that. I know, Sam, you love the Houston Astros, right?
Absolutely not. I would.
Yes.
I would rather be.
You'd rather pick your eye out.
Fitted into a concrete wall for everyone to see for the rest of eternity than become an Astros fan.
You're a big Rangers fan.
Yes, very, very big Rangers fan for sure.
Lastly, I just want to, we didn't mention at the beginning of the show, but Gene Hackman, the great actor, died recently. He was 95. Great actor, was in my favorite movie of all time, Hoosiers. I was a basketball coach over the years, and Hoosiers was the go-to movie that I would share with my teams. I love that movie. Anytime it is on, I will stop and I will watch that movie. I don't care. I've watched that movie 100 times. So, we will miss Gene Hackman. He was a great actor. Steve, you mentioned that he
got his big break in Bonnie and Clyde with Faye Dunaway and can't think of his name. But also Gene Wilder just had a bit part in that movie.
Okay.
Great in The Conversation. Great in Royal Tannenbaum.
Mm-hmm.
You just can't. Enemy of the State. I will stop and always watch that with Will Smith. Excellent movies, and of course Unforgiven, where he won his second Oscar.
Oh, I forgot about Unforgiven. That's a great one too. Yeah,
Little Bill.
That's right. Folks, take care. I hope everybody has a very good rest of your week. The weekend is right around the corner, and go Browns. We'll be back next week. Stay tuned to all other shows coming up tomorrow night. The Burning River Browns Talk with Lou and Sherry will be on tomorrow night. And we've got Ethan with his Going Nuclear, Heather, and them. They do the Best Doggone show in the land. We've got Steve's show, Dog Pound South.
Thank you.
On Mondays, Sam with his Browns breakdown. Sam,
my
are you
show will eventually come out at some point. I keep forgetting to get one recorded. I might be able to get one this Saturday, though.
When you record, Sam, I just want to remind you, please text me.
Yeah, it's so helpful until I'm actually doing it, and then I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna write this text before I record the podcast, and 30 seconds later, I'm like, texting. Ugh.
Tomorrow morning, tune in to Rod Bloom's Browns Blitz as well. He's recording tonight. They're doing a little mailbag. He and Jeff, his brother, are answering questions. So if you want to give questions.
How many times do you think they'll be asked, when are they going to fire Andrew Berry? Over, under. What, 20, 30 times?
Yeah. Over.
Over, definitely.
Yeah. All these guys that work with us, our colleagues do such a great job. And, we have done this project for 2 years now. And I know it's
my God, you gotta be kidding me.
Off season. And, but we really appreciate you guys. We've noticed, I've noticed, I keep track of our podcasting numbers, and we've had a little bit of more attention, obviously with probably free agency and the draft So please tune in to us. Please spread the love. Tell everybody to listen to the Fanatical Elfz. You can listen to us on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, anywhere you listen to your podcasting. Everybody have a great night. Go Browns.
Go Browns.
Browns.